QA API testing is a specific approach within quality assurance, QA, focused on testing application programming interfaces, APIs, to ensure they meet defined standards for functionality, performance, security, and reliability. API testing plays a critical role in software development, particularly in applications with complex backend services or microservices architectures. Here's a detailed look into QA API testing, its objectives, processes, and best practices. Key objectives of QA API testing. Functionality verification ensures that each API endpoint functions correctly according to the business logic and specifications. Performance assessment measures how quickly the API responds under normal and high load conditions, including response time, throughput, and resource utilization. Security validation checks for vulnerabilities such as data leaks, unauthorized access, and other potential security breaches, ensuring data protection and compliance. Reliability and stability tests the API's ability to handle various input scenarios and maintain stability under different conditions, including edge cases and unexpected inputs. Integration testing verifies that the API interacts correctly with other system components and services. Types of QA API testing. Unit testing focuses on testing individual endpoints or functions of the API in isolation. Integration testing validates how different services and APIs interact with each other. Functional testing tests the complete flow of the API, ensuring it meets the requirements and returns the correct outputs. Load and stress testing evaluates how the API performs under heavy loads or stress conditions to identify any bottlenecks or weaknesses. Security testing assesses the API's security features, such as authentication, authorization, encryption, and vulnerability to common security threats like SQL injection, XSS, and CSRF. QA API testing process. Identify test scenarios. Define what aspects of the API need testing based on requirements, such as CRUD operations, create, read, update, delete, data validation, and error responses. Design test cases. Create detailed test cases that outline the input parameters, request types, get, post, put, delete, expected responses, and any preconditions. Set up the test environment. Configure the necessary servers, databases, and network settings. Ensure the environment mirrors the production setup as closely as possible to achieve accurate results. Execute API tests. Use tools to send requests to the API endpoints and capture responses. Validate these responses against expected outputs, checking for status codes, response times, data accuracy, and error handling. Analyze and report results. Review test outcomes, logs, and reports. Identify any discrepancies or errors and document them for further investigation. Bug reporting and retesting. Report any bugs identified during testing to the development team. Once fixes are applied, retest to ensure issues are resolved. Regression testing. Perform regression tests to ensure that new changes or bug fixes do not negatively impact existing API functionality. Common tools used in QA API testing. Postman, widely used for manual API testing, scripting, and automated testing in CI/CD pipelines. SOAP UI, suitable for both REST and SOAP API testing, offering functional, security, and performance testing capabilities. JMeter, primarily a performance testing tool that also supports functional API testing. REST Assured, a Java-based library specifically designed for testing REST APIs, often used in automated testing frameworks. Swagger allows for API documentation and testing based on open API specifications. Karate DSL, a framework that allows writing API tests in a readable format, ideal for behavior-driven development, BDD. Best practices for QA API testing. Clear documentation. Maintain up-to-date documentation of APIs, including endpoints, request parameters, expected responses, and data models. This helps testers create accurate and comprehensive test cases. Test for different scenarios. Ensure tests cover positive, negative, boundary, and edge cases. This includes testing with valid, invalid, empty, and null data inputs. Automate regression tests. Automate repetitive test cases, especially regression tests, to quickly identify if any changes break existing functionality. Monitor API performance. Continuously monitor response times and performance metrics. Use load testing to identify performance degradation under stress. Secure your tests. Ensure your testing process includes security checks for vulnerabilities, such as input validation, token handling, and access controls. Use mock servers. Utilize mock servers to simulate API behavior, allowing testing to proceed even if some parts of the system are still under development. Version control for tests. Maintain version control of your test scripts, especially in agile environments where APIs are frequently updated. Integrate with CI/CD pipelines. Integrate API tests into the CI/CD pipeline to ensure that automated tests run with every code change, providing quick feedback to developers. Challenges in QA API testing. Complex dependencies. APIs often rely on external services or databases, making it challenging to isolate and test specific functionalities. Frequent API changes. APIs are subject to change, requiring constant updates to test scripts to keep them relevant. Authentication and authorization. Testing APIs that require complex authentication mechanisms like OAuth, API keys, or JWT tokens can add additional layers of complexity. Error handling. Ensuring APIs return informative and consistent error messages for various failure scenarios. QA API testing is crucial for ensuring robust, reliable, and secure APIs that serve as the backbone of modern software applications. It provides a foundation for high-quality software that can handle real-world use cases and demands.